All right. So your question was, how do you do what? How do I make silent?
How do I make auctions? Silent auctions. I've been getting a lot of requests from local charities for packages for. I'm a photographer, so in San Diego, and so there's a big network here of lots of different charities that that support families. And considering that I am a family portrait photographer, and I'm going to be, if I'm donating to a silent auction, people who attend silent auctions are people who are looking to give their money away.
Mm-hmm.
So they are technically my client.
Mm-hmm.
So if I just put the gift certificate in a frame and leave it on the table, I just know that it's not going to get a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of attention. So I actually went ahead and created a whole sample selection. I have like a metal print and a canvas and an image cube and an album. And I put all that stuff together. But should I be? I don't know. Is there a way? I'm thinking like, I don't want people just to walk past my table, sign, and then that be the end of it. And the only person I actually get to contact is the person who won the package. So I'm trying to collect these cold leads basically and turn them into warm leads and then hot leads.
So you want people's email addresses.
Yeah.
So any person who
at the very least.
So every person that bids, because they'll have like a bid sheet or some kind of bid thing, every person that bids, you should be able to contact them because that's somebody who's interested in your product and your service. So you should be able to contact that person. So I would definitely say whoever is bidding on these items, that you need to be able to access them. And at the very minimum, at least the people that are bidding on your item, if it's possible for them to put your information in front of other people, whether it's through their website or their Facebook page or what have you, where you can actually share, something that you're doing, a promotion or something like that. I think that would be helpful, so that they can kind of connect with you online. Because the problem is, are you going to the event?
I can stop by. I wasn't planning on going because it is my kid's birthday, but I have like 3 silent auctions coming up within the next 2 months.
The thing is that list is like super important because they can't sell your photos for you. And even if they see them and they think they're amazing, like your personality, your brand is you. And so you're the one who has to sell those packages and those things to everyone. So I would find out, how can you access the people that are looking and are going to have their, either are bidding on this item. At the very minimum, you should have access to the people who are bidding. And then, on a larger scale, I would say, is it possible for you to, do some kind of, can you do a promotion with them? Is something else that I would do, which is, maybe maybe the people who didn't bid but attended the event, is there some way you can do a promotion where it's like, if they book a session with you, because you're, giving back to this organization, they book a session with you, if they make a donation. So then that would be like, anybody who makes a donation, that you would be willing to offer them a discounted session or something like that. Like I feel like if you don't have access and connection with them, there's no way that that's going to be as fruitful as you want it to be, because I think of it like in the mall, they have these like kiosks. I don't know if they have them here, but when we lived in Charlotte, they used to have like a kiosk, and it was like a photographer, and their photos were just there in the mall. And I just found it so strange. It was like, here are my photos on this display. And I thought they were nice, but I needed somebody, I need to connect with the photographer and know about them more than just the imagery, because it's just hard. You have to, it's like anything else. Like you want them to know and trust you, and they're going to like your photos, but they're not going to really know you. And they're definitely not going to trust you yet, because it takes a few times for them to interact with you. The trust factor does come in because the organization or the, whoever is doing the auction, they're saying, we trust Lena because we're bringing her into the fold. So I would ask them, what other ways can you, instead of saying promote, because I think that's the hardest, they don't want to be sold. They don't want to sell stuff to their people. So I would say, how can you offer something amazing to those people that make a donation? And so instead of it being like you're getting something out of it, it's like you're giving something, so you would say, anybody who makes a donation, because I'm so passionate about this cause, I would like to give them, like a special promotion or something like that for photos with you. Does that make sense? Like some kind of special package or some kind of special offer just for those people that make a donation. And so, I mean, it's an auction. It's an event. It's for donors. So I'm assuming a lot of people are going to make donations.
Right. But like, as you're walking past the table, like you said, like you're talking about, it's a kiosk at a mall. You're walking past this table and, you might sign up or you might not sign up for it, but I don't know. The only thing I can come up with is a piece of paper that has an email list.
Mm-hmm. Like for more information.
Right?
So you can do that. I mean, you can
a special
do that.
offer from Photos by Elena for attendees only.
Mm-hmm. I would try to work with whoever is doing the event, because I'll give you an example. I'm in a group program right now and I got an email, and the email says, it was like, this checklist is amazing and it's going to give you access to influencers and XYZ. And I was like, okay. And then I went over there and it was another like group program type of thing. You know what I mean? Where it's like, if you sign up, they'll give you the checklist as the opt-in. Right. And so I kind of was like, oh, I don't know if I want to sign up for that. But because my program that I'm in, I trust him that he's not going to send me down some kind of weird rabbit hole into some junk. I went and I signed up, and now I'm getting emails from this person. So I would not have, if this person would have just come to me and said, hey, sign up, do this, I would not have signed up. But because someone said, hey, this person is a valuable person, we trust them, and we are in a relationship with them. And so when they present it, it's more likely that you will have people who will sign up with you. If that makes sense. So I would talk to whoever's doing the auction and say, I'm willing to give you guys like all this amazing value. This is valued at XYZ. Give them what the value is. Hold on, something's chiming on my computer. Give them what the value is. Let them know, like, this is the value of everything that I'm giving you guys. I'm going to set up this beautiful presentation. I'm going to do all these things. And for everyone who donates, I want to go ahead and give them a special offer. But they would have to send that out for you. Like, I feel like they have to do that.
Yeah, it's like something I can't
to give you the credibility. To give you the credibility, even though your work is credible and even though you are credible, it's because this is not your event and it's kind of like it's a warm-ish lead. It's going to be better if it's coming from them. So I would work on building the relationship with whoever you're doing the auction with and letting them know. A lot of times we say, can we do XYZ? Sometimes you just got to let people know that's your system. That's your system.
I've
this
heard
is
that before.
This is my system. Have I told you that before? This is my system. So
you have told people that for me before.
Yeah. I mean, this is my system. This is how it works. And so as part of my auctions, this is how I have to do things. And most people will be like, yeah, okay, that's how you do it. We'll do it. But if you start asking like, can you do this and can you do that? Then people are like, well, no, I can't. But you can just say, I want to offer, because you want to give. And that's the thing. Like, people, even though you feel like you're giving for the auction, they feel like they're protecting those, the privacy of those people. And they don't want to feel like they're getting spammed, or anything like that. So I would say build a relationship, let them know that you would like to, offer something special for those people that donate only, because then that's self-selecting that crowd that's going to be able to pay your prices. Does that make sense?
Okay.
The ones that donate.
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Right. With that being said, like with them going and providing you with this list of people who have donated, do we let people in the that people who are in the event know that this is coming?
You can let them know. You can have something at the table that says, and once you talk to whoever's doing the event, just find out what the verbiage is that they're going to use. And then you can just put it on the table and just say, everyone who donates tonight will receive, XYZ. And then it makes it even more of a commitment for the people to follow through, the organization to follow through. So I would say the relationship has to start with whoever is hosting the event and letting them know, I want to do these, I want to do this, give you this value. And I also want to add an extra bonus for those people who donate tonight. And then, maybe you can have a bit.ly URL that you create just for those people that takes them to like a page on your website that's like, thank you so much for donating at the blah, blah, blah gala. This is, I'm offering this special XYZ for you. Type your email in the box below and I'll send you more information or something like that.
Okay.
I've
spent the entire day. I know. You and I spoke earlier today, so I've spent the entire day working on the stuff that we talked about earlier today, and I'm sitting there going, okay, I can add another page. The logistics of, you have amazing ideas, but sometimes the logistics of
so
what you provide with me are like, I'll figure it out.
No, so I think the 1, 2, 3 step is you need to call whoever you're working with. You need to let them know that you are willing to offer something special for the people who donate.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has to be you have to decide how that communication is going to happen. You're going to give them a flyer with a special code. You're going to give them a website to go to. You have to figure that part out and make it easy for you. You could just send them to your website, but I think that you should have something. If it's somebody who's spending money, then you should have something for them. I would even call them if possible, but a lot of people don't like giving out their phone numbers. So I would say
caller ID.
I know, but I would say step 1 is to call each person that you're doing a silent auction with and give them the 3 things that you are going to do, which is 1, you're going to have this display. 2, you're going to have a clipboard or some place for people to leave their email addresses. And 3, that you're going to offer something special to those people that donate. So those are the 3 things.
Okay.
A, B, C. 1, 2, 3. When is the auction? When is your auction?
Tomorrow.
Get off my blab.
I have one tomorrow.
Full disclosure.
End of April.
Full disclosure.
Lena
and I have been working together, and so she's literally working on several different things. So this was not something that we had talked about fully. I didn't know it was tomorrow. So yeah, I think you may not. You may have lost the window on that one.
I did set up stuff.
I would have a list.
Oh no, but I can still print out a sheet. I can still print out a sheet. It's right down the street at Kid Ventures. You know where that is. So I can still print out a sheet and stick it on a clipboard and put it on the table. I was still planning on stopping by and checking in.
What I would suggest, honestly, anytime you're doing an auction, is you need to make whoever's doing these auctions fall in love with you so that they can be the one to sell it for you if you're not going to be there. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, and the Chula Vista Public Library, that event I'm actually working, and that they absolutely love me over there. So trying to figure out how to get my work seen. They came up and they asked me if I wanted to, not only work the event for free, but also provide a silent auction item. So, which I've gotten better about not giving them this amazing package. I've gotten better about, providing the service and then still landing something in the upsell.
I like that. So because I know there's a few other people out there. So I'm going to ask a few questions. You can stay on if you want. I'm going to ask just a few questions to the people who are out there. So if you are donating a service, I always tell people, either you have to give just because you want to give and know that you may not get anything in return, or you have to be very clear with what it is that you're donating, what the value is, and what you want in return. So for example, one of the things that I do is I do free calls, discovery calls with people who are trying to fix their brands. And, and I give a lot. So my call may be 20 minutes and I usually will go over because I over deliver and that's just who I am. And I don't have a problem with that, but I let them know, look, I'm going to take this time. I'm going to talk to you. My time is valuable. However, I'm willing to dedicate this time to you. And so while I'm on this phone with you, let's make the most of it. And so we talk for 20 minutes. And then at the end of it, I let them know beforehand. The only thing that I'm asking from you is feedback. So you need to leave me some kind of testimonial or some kind of feedback about how this call, how the call was for you. Because I need to at the very least, be able to gather data from these calls. Because as much as I want to give and I want to build a relationship, I also want to make sure that I'm getting something out of it, for me as well, because my life is so limited. So let's see, Ricardo McRae says, free 15-minute Skype call. Do you give a free 15-minute Skype call, Ricardo? So with the calls, rarely. Yeah. So I do give calls. I mean, I don't have a problem with doing that. But I try really hard to make sure that the time that I am on the phone, that it's very, value oriented, like we're getting down to some kind of strategy and some kind of steps that this person can use, and that they don't get off the phone and feel like, oh yeah, I don't know if that's worth it or not. Yeah. Pick my brain. Well, that's good. I mean, and I don't know. What do you do, Ricardo? Tell me what you do. He said, I have one called Pick My Brain and it's $850. I don't do Pick My Brain. My Pick My Brains are over. I did my days of Pick My Brain. What do you do, Ricardo? You can post in the comments. So, no, what do you do? What is your business? What is it that you do? Branding. Okay. So, very cool. So one of the things that I'm going to talk about while we're kind of getting some people in there, and you guys can comment in the chats as we go along, is trying to find one of the things that I got asked yesterday. I did a Boss Babes branding class, and it was about building an irresistible brand. And one of the things that was asked of me several times in the comment is kind of how to get clients online. And so, if you guys are in any kind of, Facebook, any kind of social media, Twitter, wherever you are, just because you're on there and you're sending things out and posting doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to build a brand. And so it really requires you to interact and have relationships. Today, I was sitting at the car dealership waiting for my oil to get changed. And I did a little, I always tell people I'm a mad scientist. I like to see, what can I do with an hour of time? So I had an hour waiting for my oil to get changed. And I sat on Facebook, and I am involved in a lot of different groups. And I use that time to kind of see how many relationships and contacts and connections I can make within that hour. And so while I was sitting there, I connected with 10 people, 3 of which I scheduled some time with, actually, because one has a podcast. There were just different things that caught my interest. So it was a really good opportunity for me to see what happens when you just intentionally start connecting with people. So it wasn't like I went out there and I was like, hey, I'm Sandra, I'm a brand coach and educator, and I want to, sell you my services. It was more so of responding and connecting and interacting with people who needed the help that I could offer and just giving them value. So I'm going to give you an example of what that looks like, because I think a lot of times we're really confused as to how to interact with people. And so here's a good example. If you are selling something, like, for instance, I'm going to use Lena as an example because she was on there before. So Lena's a photographer. So instead of Lena sharing that she is a photographer and, hey, buy my photos, she can actually post pictures of, whoever she's taking a picture of, and she can share something about that moment. And so she does that a lot. She'll share, like, this is the This is the love of a mother and a son, or, she'll talk about a day in the life of, a mom or what have you, because she does a lot of lifestyle photos. And she also gives people tips on how to take better pictures of their kids and how to, she helps empower women who are going through struggles with getting their photos, being in the photos, and just empowers them and gives them confidence. So yes, you need to put more tips. You're confused. Type in the chat and tell me why you're confused. So one of the things that I think we struggle with is when we're trying to sell our services and our products, we're not really putting we're putting our sales hat on. So I always say, if you want to sell something, give people advice and tips and be helpful, and then they will come back to you and buy from you. And so it's not always about just going out there and offering your services and what you do. Sometimes people don't care what you do. I mean, that sounds awful, but they don't. They're more attracted to other things. I have Boston Terrier, and I met so many people online because of my dog. People would like me online and connect with me. And I actually booked 2 clients. When I had my photography business, I booked 2 clients based on Boston Terriers because they had Bostons and they thought it was great. And so it was an opportunity for them to, it resonated with them. And so it doesn't necessarily always have to be you trying to sell with people online. I really want you guys to work more on building relationships. It's so awesome when you can build relationships. I just did a podcast. I'm going to add Southern Cake Queen on here. I just did a podcast, and on the podcast was they're in Ireland. And it was fascinating to me because I was able to connect with people. This is what the digital world can do. You can connect with people all over the world. And you have so much access at your fingertips that you don't even realize anymore. So instead of going online and thinking, I'm here to get a sale, sometimes you can look at it as, I'm here to get exposure or build a relationship that can open a door for me to do something even more awesome. And so that's really how I use the digital space. I'm waiting for Southern Cake Queen to log on, but I have been doing Blab since the beginning of the year. It was a 90-day test. And so tonight when my guest canceled, I said, you know what, I'm just going to cancel because I have all this going on and I wasn't prepared. But I have been able to build a lot of relationships through coming on here on Blab. I've been able to help people with their brand. I've been able to bring other experts into the room. I've been able to connect with people in several different ways. And so it's not just me coming on here. I mean, I can go back and look through all the Blabs I've done, and I don't think I've ever actually sold what I do. I mean, I tell people to join my list because that's important to me. And then I do all the loving and all the sales that I'm going to do. I do them through my list. After I've loved up on them for a while, then I'm able to say, hey, I have these products and services that I offer. And then they know me, they like me, they trust me, and they are willing to, to take me seriously and to accept the offers that I'm putting out there as something that's valuable to them. I'm giving information away all the time. So even though, that's right, jab, 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 right hook. So, you want to give as much as you can and not just go on social media posting every single offer, every single product you're selling, every single promotion, because, I want you to think of it like social media is a place where people come to hang out. They come to social media to have a good time and to see what other people are doing and to, relax. I don't know. People come on social media for all different kinds of things. But no one comes onto social media to buy anything. Like when you're going to buy something, you don't say, let me go onto Facebook. I'd like to shop. Like that's the last place you go, right? You go to Amazon or, one of those places, right? You go on for videos or you go on for different things. But the point being is you don't go onto Facebook or Twitter or any of those places to purchase anything. So when people are selling you stuff, it's like when you're sitting at home and you're watching TV and the commercials come on and you get frustrated and you're like, now I got to sit here and watch these commercials. And so what do you do when the commercials come on? You click past them. Like, you're like, I don't want to see commercials, right? So I do Hulu a lot because I don't watch TV ever really, and everything I watch is like on some kind of live stream thing. So every time I'm watching something, Netflix or what have you, anytime I'm watching something and I have to watch commercials if I'm watching Hulu. I mean, it sucks. I have to watch them. It's like you're forced to. And that's the tax that we pay for the luxury of being able to watch, Game of Thrones whenever we want, right? And so when you're doing it in this environment, it just doesn't feel good. People don't like it. They don't want to be sold. They want to feel wooed, not sold. And so a lot of times I tell people how to make an irresistible brand is like a dance. Like, you want to be able to communicate with the person that you're trying to have that dance with. And so you wouldn't just show up at a party and just be like, hey, throw up my business cards, here I am, right? You would actually go in and you would meet the host and you would say hello, and maybe you would go stand by the chips and ask questions, to someone that's there and find out about them. And, you really do a lot of asking of questions. And so that's the same strategy I tell people for for marketing online is go online and just start connecting with people and finding out about them. I tell you what, I go online and some days I'm just like, I love humans. So I may be a little bit strange. Some people don't like humans. I don't know. I love humans. I love learning about people. I'm fascinated with just how we can connect with so many people in such a small amount of time with the technology that we have. So the first thing I tell everyone is when you're going into this relationship, right? Because it is a relationship. When you go into the relationship, you don't just want to go in and say, hi, this is what I do. No, you want to let them know not just what your business is, but who you are. So a lot of times when people ask me about myself, I do post about my business, but that's secondary. First, I want them to know that I'm a mom, I'm a military wife, that I love to dance salsa and I like stilettos and sequins and leather and, like whatever it is that I love to go thrift shopping. Like I tell them about myself and then they're like, oh, I kind of like that girl. All right, what else? And then I'm like, oh yeah. And I help women who are juggling family and business create a brand that they love. And so it really is not the first thing that's going to come out of my mouth. Because if you've ever gone somewhere and somebody came up to you and they were like, yeah, I'm this awesome attorney. And you're like, thanks. You don't want to know that. You don't want to know that about somebody right away, what they do. What you want to know is like what they're about so that you can decide whether or not this is somebody that you really want in your sphere, in your circle, in your world. And so whether you're on social media or whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on Instagram or Twitter, it's all the same thing. You just have different amount of characters and different amount of exposure. So I'm going to let you guys, yes, it's like dating. You don't want to kiss on the first date, right? And you're not going to ask them, what'd you say? Yeah, drinks first and then a second date and then ask for marriage. Exactly. So you don't want to just go into it with the mentality of, hey, I'm here to make a sale. I always tell people, you want to check the scene and see how it's going at the party. You want to ask some questions, find out about the host, check it all out. And then after you get to that point, you want to go ahead and say, okay, now I kind of know about this person. Let me share some advice or tips that might be helpful to them because now I know a little bit about them. So I did a webinar yesterday and what we talked about really was like how to give advice and tips that doesn't, so that you're not selling and so that you're actually wooing people. And so, every person's woo or how you woo people is going to be different depending on who your brand is. So one of the things that I would suggest is really getting to know who your ideal target audience is. So my target audience is moms, but it's not moms like, it's not just somebody who's sitting at home and, like their sole purpose in life is to be a mom, and that's all they want to do. Most of the women that I work with, which is great for that mom, but most of the women that I work with have a degree, have been a professional before, are now in the role of a mom, still have aspirations and dreams and things that they want to do. And they want to be empowered and have a purpose in life and use their skills, their passions to create a business. And most of them are, they're educated. They're just at home with their kids now, and they're trying to create a brand. So that's kind of one of the demographics that I work with. So I'm not going to show her, most of my moms are going to be interested in, yes, what moms see every day. Like, their kid is, they're sitting on a peanut butter sandwich or something like that. A mom sits down on the couch, she might sit on a peanut butter sandwich because her kid just put it there. So if I saw like a YouTube clip of something funny like that and I shared it, then a mom might understand it. And so, so there's different things that a mom would get, right? But then there's also the educated mom piece of this, which is like, these moms are educated. The moms that I work with, most of them have a degree or have gone, some kind of education, have had a profession of some sort. They also want that part of their brain stimulated. So they're not just looking for me to post quippy little things on my page. They want to learn. They want to, they want me to post some things that are going to trigger that. So it's kind of, one of those places that you have to kind of know who your person is. And that's like, it's hard because when you find out who your person is, you almost feel like, okay, if I only focus on this one client, then I'm not going to have these other people pay me their money, give me their money. And the truth is, once you figure out who your client is, then it doesn't really matter, because I'm here right now and there might be someone on my feed like Ricardo, who is not my ideal client. He's still on here. But he's enjoying what we're talking about, because he gets the branding part. But there might be somebody who's like, he's like, hey, I'm a new dad. Good. I love it. I love it. How new a dad, Ricardo? 3 months. Oh, I'm so sorry. Month 1 through 6 was a blur. I don't even remember that part. So, it was a tough, it was 1 through 6 was kind of like, are we going to make it out of this? Be nice to your wife. Yes. Yes. So, okay. Who is Ask for Abs? I want to know what your name is. Type it in the chat, because I see your comments. And yes, it's cool when you figure it out, because you have to be a mad scientist at first and see what works and what doesn't work. And it has to really resonate. Oh, it's Abby. Okay. I'm like, Ask for Abs. Who is that? So one of the things is you have to, if you don't have it figured out, it's like the biggest struggle. It's the biggest challenge, because when you're posting stuff and people aren't responding, it's usually because it's not resonating with them or it's not clear. So clarity is what people need to be able to respond, to post and engage. And so it takes so much time to do the scientist thing. I love being a scientist. This whole blab is a scientist, this is a science experiment for me. So I will give you, we'll go back to the branding, and I'll do like an intermission right now so that you guys can catch up and ask any questions you want. If you do /Q, the questions will pop up on my left, and it makes it easier for me to see them. But yeah, so one of the things that I will say is, I do not feel that there is most people fail or feel they fail at certain social media or certain platforms or certain marketing because they don't get results. And most of the time they don't get results because they're either not clear or because they haven't done it long enough. And so I am willing to try anything for 90 days. And I wasn't that person before. Before I'd be like, oh, it didn't work. I did it for 2 days and that didn't work. And so I just would move on. But you have to try something for a long enough period of time. So I say 90 days, try it, work it, learn, get data, and really figure it out. So I started Blab in the beginning of the year as part of a program that I'm in, which is a 90-day year program. And I said, okay, I'm really going to test this 90-day thing out, and I'm going to be consistent because I have people holding me accountable. And so I started in the beginning of the year. And I used almost, I think it was like, I was up to like 40, I say 45 days, but I was right around in that 45-day range where I realized that through Blab, I had been able to 10x my list. So I started the list that I used. It wasn't my complete list. I had other people on my list, but this particular list had 50 something people on there, or 40 something people. And I was able to increase that list to 490 some odd people in 45 days. And it was really using Blab, because I would come on here and I would talk. I'd have people on here, and I would tell them to sign up for my opt-in. And then I would also repackage or upload these videos to YouTube, and I'd share them with my list and with other people, and that would get people to sign up for my opt-in as well. So if you guys want to know more about that whole process, because it was I just did like 3 podcasts about that, different podcasts that people interviewed me for. So you can go follow it's on Facebook on my page, where I kind of talk about the whole process. But what I really want to say is, like, you have to have the time. Like, the time really matters. What metrics do you measure before I pivot? The things that I measure, it just depends, because everything is different. So, financials are important if it's, let's say, a group program and I don't have enough people that are signing up, and I've tweaked and I know that it's something that's valuable, but my audience isn't responding, or, it doesn't resonate with them, or something's going on. I do my minimum number of registrants, and then like what my goal is, and then I have a stretch goal. And so if I don't meet my minimum, then I kind of tell myself, okay, let me see if I can tweak and rework it to get that minimum. If I feel like I'm working too hard to get that minimum, like something's just not connecting, then I have to look and see if it's time to, do something different. But I really always set like a minimum, either a minimum number of people that I want on the air, a minimum number of viewers, a minimum number of enrollees. Like, I try to come up with an idea of what that would look like. So Blab, which it's a good question, Ricardo, because with Blab, I had no idea, because I had not been on the platform before. I came on this platform in, Katina, keep me honest. When did we come and do our first show? You might remember, because I'm terrible with dates, but December. Okay, so I came on in December with Katina, and we did a time management for moms, and I was addicted. And yes, it was amazing. And I was like, okay, well, let's see. And I can't remember how many people we had on the show. Maybe Katina remembers. I'm like the worst when it comes to numbers. So I always tell people, I'm like, this is why I have everything in a document, and I can just show people. I'm like, here's my screenshots, here's my numbers. Y'all can follow along. But we had people that came on the show. I really felt that it was a powerful medium that I could use. And I love talking and sharing and connecting. Okay, so we had 12 people on the show. And so, 12 people wasn't bad. It was our first time doing it, first time out the gate. And then I realized there was something that I could do to increase my numbers more. And that was to use Facebook events and connect with people through Facebook that were on Facebook already to come along with me on Blab, and then they could share people. And then the hosts or co-hosts or guests that I would have them also invite their people to these Facebook events. And so it helped to kind of like grow not only my following, but every time you create a new Facebook event, you can invite the guests from previous events. And so those people have stayed in my pocket the whole time that I've been going through this transition and through this process. And so, so Ricardo, this was like, I didn't really have a metrics for this. Like, it was I remember I was at day, I think it was like 60 days, and I was just exhausted. And so it had nothing to do with the metrics. It's just, I was tired. And, this is like the most human thing that I will tell you. It's like, I was just like, okay, I'm exhausted, and it's 7:00 at night, and I'm trying to put my daughter down. I'm trying to do all these things. And I was just like, I don't know if it's worth it. And what I ended up doing was looking at it differently. And instead of saying, I don't know if it's worth it, I said, am I doing everything I can do with the people who have already signed up for my list so that I can leverage that into money for my business? And or relationships or whatever it was that I was trying to do. And so that week I started to put together my program, and I was able to sign people up to my program, and that really, really helped. So, I mean, it was hard because I will be honest with you. What made me want to quit was that I was tired and that I had 2 people cancel on me, like 2 guests that were supposed to be on the show. And so then I had to like pull somebody in at the last minute. And I didn't know. It's not that I wasn't confident, because I'm very good at talking. If you guys can see, I'm up here and I don't mind talking. I have a big personality, and I don't mind sharing my nuggets and my information and my experience with people. But what it wasn't really like a confidence thing. It was just like, I didn't know if people just wanted to hear me talk, like if it was of value to them for me to be up here, as opposed for me to bringing experts and having that energy of more people in the room. So that is really what caused that. And so that particular night, I had already created a blog post, which was a blog post that I'm expanding into a book. And so I said, you know what, I'm just going to take this blog post and I'm going to use that as the content for tonight's show. And it was, I think it was like 5 tips to polish your brand or something like that. And I kind of gave people the tools that they could use to grow and build their business. So I don't know if that answered your question, Ricardo. All right, Abby says, I felt like Ricardo had another question, but it may have disappeared. I don't know. I don't see it. Abby says, I'm sure the answer will vary here, but what might be the typical range for a person to get their business online and rolling? Rolling defined by making some money on a somewhat regular basis. I didn't realize I had so much to learn, and I'm taking it one step at a time, as you know. So Abby, everything is different for everyone. And what I tell people is, when you're thinking about the goals for your business, instead of thinking about okay, I want to make a package that's this amount of money, I look at it from a different perspective. I look at, how much money do I need to survive? Because let's be honest here, we're in business to bring income into our home, to have a life, to be able to, it's a livelihood. It's not just for fun and games, or we wouldn't be spending this much time on it. And so I want to be romantic about my business and say, like, I'm so passionate about it and I love what I do, and I do. But at the end of the day, it's like, my husband has told me before, if I can pay you, and I say this all the time and people think I'm nuts, but he would say, if I can pay you for an hour of your time, you're not charging enough. And I'd rather pay you for that hour and have you here with me than to have you out there doing something that's not worth it. And so he's like, people need to value your time. And it was a really hard time for me. At that time, I was a photographer and I had a business that I was really more invested in the prettiness of it. Like, I have to get a website and I have to get the business cards. I have to do this and the zhuzh, I was zhuzhing, and zhuzhing doesn't get you anywhere, And so when he told me that, I realized I had to get on the phone and I had to call people. And so the ball rolling part of it is really up to you. And you could get off this blab right now and you can message someone right now and let them know, your services and your offers and how you can help them. And somebody would be like, hey, I'm in, and I've already told you, Abby, that, I could use your services. I just need to get my act together as far as like what I need you to do for me. And when I get back from my trip to Vegas, we're going to talk about that more. But yeah, you don't have to have much. And so I started my business. I wish I could screen share with y'all, but I can't do that in this platform. I started my business with a landing page. It was a picture of me. And then at the bottom of the screen, it had a box that you sign up and get my newsletter. And it said, sign up for business tips and goodness or something like that. I can't even remember what it said. But I do have the screenshot of that. That is all that I used to start my business online. It was a 1-page sign up form. I did, prior to that, prior to me going online, I had clients in person. And so the way I had clients in person was people would say, let me pick your brain. And I was like, you know what? That's getting old. And it cost me money to go to the coffee shop, drive to the coffee shop, have a cup of coffee, all that stuff costs money. And then you're picking my brain and that's my time. So I stopped that and I started charging for my services. And so I had clients before I went online. And because my husband is military, and when we moved across the country, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? Like, I can't do, no, pick my brain. Time is money. Exactly. I was like, what am I going to do now? I'm across the country. My clients are in Charlotte, and I got to figure out a way to, you know, still be, I mean, my husband, I'll be honest with you, he is amazing. And he's like, you know, as long as you take care of our daughter, you know, he's willing to do what he has to do. But that's not, you know, I want us to have a good lifestyle. I want us to be able to enjoy things. I don't want my husband to feel like he is a slave, you know, to his job. He is in the military and he loves what he does, but he's in a commitment, you know, that is a little bit different than most people are. And so when I decided to take my business online, within 60 days, and my coach that I first started with when I went online was Jess Sells, and she's a mindset coach. And honestly, you know, she's like, you already got this. Like, you know, all these people, like, people love you for all these different things that you've done. Like, it's going to be fine. And I was like, but it's different when it's online because I have to make new relationships. And so what I did was I used the people that I already had worked with. So testimonials, I got 5 testimonials, and I used those as a way to sell myself as a coach because I had worked with them before and they were able to give me testimonials. And some of the testimonials weren't really aligned with what I wanted. So for instance, I had helped someone, because I have done so many different things, but I actually have a nonprofit organization for domestic violence in Charlotte, North Carolina. And so a lot of people come to me for advice on how to start a nonprofit. I had someone help me, but yes, I know the ins and outs of it. And so I helped her set up her nonprofit. It wasn't really the testimonial that I was looking for my business, for branding and coaching, because it was mostly like I'm helping her with the back end, the administrative paperwork side of it. However, I said, you know what? It doesn't matter. It's someone saying that you can trust me, that I have some kind of value and knowledge, and I put it up there. And if you go on my LinkedIn, like sometimes I go on LinkedIn and I'm like, how can I make LinkedIn like more visible? Because I mean, if you go on LinkedIn, and I feel like that's like the world of testimonials for me. People have gone in there and I'm always amazed at how many testimonials I have in LinkedIn because I don't even use LinkedIn. But a lot of people are on there. And so I've gone in there and I've copied and pasted a lot of the testimonials and put them, you know, on my website or sent them out. So, you know, if you've done work for 2 people and they can say you did a good job, I would use those testimonials and use that to, you know, get your next clients. And don't feel bad about asking for feedback. I just did a coaching call yesterday. And, you know, after I give my show notes, after I give my notes, at the bottom, there's a few questions for them to fill out that are about the experience and about the call and about our, you know, the value, because there is absolutely no way that, especially if you do something that's like a one-time project, and then like 3 months later, you go and you ask somebody for a testimonial, it's a little bit harder. It's not impossible. So don't feel that way. But you want to just get into the habit of asking. You have a couple on your Facebook page right now. Yeah, copy them things, girl. Do a screenshot. It's even better when you have a screenshot because then people know this is live and it's on your, you know, it's on social media. They can see that somebody actually took the time to put those in. Definitely use that to your advantage. It's on the list. It's a lot of things I think that we don't think about sometimes. So let's see, Ricardo, I started my list by exporting my contact from LinkedIn. You know, I was going to do that, but I heard it felt kind of spammy. Now, I don't know your people. I've been on LinkedIn forever and I have a ton of contacts, and I really do feel like I'm a trusted person on LinkedIn. And so I probably should leverage that a little bit more. So maybe that needs to be on my list of places that I need to kind of navigate a little more. I just don't like LinkedIn. I don't know why. What is my aversion? Don't know what it is. But yes. Can spam does extend to social media. Permission required. Unsure if being on your contact list is enough. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works. But I think one of the things that you can do with LinkedIn, which is just make whatever you're doing now a project that you're working on, and people can find you there. You can also share your opt-ins and different things that you're doing, and there's a lot of ways for people to connect with you there. So I haven't used it. I'll be honest. LinkedIn it's there. It's on my radar of things to do, but I try to work on 1 to 2 platforms at a time. And right now I am on a 4-platform spread. So I'm really, by far, have used way too many platforms. I'm using way too many platforms right now because I just started an Instagram for my business because I wasn't really using Instagram for my business that much. But I'm on Instagram now for my business, and I have a personal. On social media, I keep saying social media, on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter, and I'm on Blab. And I just recently got addicted to Anchor. So if you don't know what Anchor is, check that out. It's a way to do waves or audio broadcasting from your phone. And so you can if you're thinking of ways to come up with content, or if you're thinking of questions for your audience, it's a great place to go. So I have asked questions on there, like can your passion stifle your business? And then people will come back and, they'll answer, and then I can use their responses to create a blog post or something like that. So I don't know how I went down that rabbit hole, but I'm back. So platforms. We're talking about platforms. So LinkedIn, yeah, I haven't done that yet. Pinterest is on the list. Yeah, I think Pinterest is something that I definitely want to work on. And I'm trying to, I'm trying to kind of get and navigate on there, but it's not my first thing. And a lot of people who blog, that's a great place to be, because if you have lists, if you have tips, if you have people go on there all the time. I mean, I go on there all the time for recipes and how to do all kinds of stuff. And after you have a baby, I feel like you spend like 99 hours online looking up stuff for your kid. So I definitely use Pinterest a lot. But are there any other questions out there? Because I want to make sure I'm answering questions. I know there's a few people out there. They're talking about the can spam laws. So one of the things that we were talking about was kind of like how to create that relationship. So you guys are talking, you're sharing information because you know who your target person is, right? You understand what they like and love. And so you're sharing things, not only just information about your business. We said before, you're giving before you ask for anything. I did not make this up, and I said this yesterday on my blab, but somehow it got quoted like I said it. But I said, be a DJ, not a songwriter. And so being a DJ, or you could be a songwriter, but being a DJ is just like source information that's out there in the universe. Look at things that are already out there that are useful for your target audience. I will be honest with you. Most of the time, people want convenience. I pay for convenience. I will pay for convenience. And so that is what people want. They want to be able to come to you and you tell them, these are the 5 best apps that you should have for running your business. These are the 10 books you should read if you want to be a, successful brand. Like, people don't want to have to go and source all this stuff. They want to find the information. They want to go to someone they trust. And so if you're the person they trust and you're giving them this information, it is like super, super helpful. So when I say be a DJ, it's like you don't have to create content all the time. Sometimes you can just go out there and find useful information and content and package that together for your ideal audience. So I just did a 5 great apps for mompreneurs. And that has done really, really well. And I've connected with a ton of people because of that blog post. And the blog post is 5 apps that I use. And so I just listed them and I told them how I use them and why I think they're great and how they can save time using those apps. And so that has been super helpful. Abby, you can not pause because it's live, but you can come back and you can fast forward to wherever part. So when you do the replay, you can go to wherever you want. Where are you, Abby? I'm trying to see. Oregon. Oh, okay. Cool. Cool beans. Well, yeah, I will. I'll share the replay. I'm in California. I'm in San Diego right now, or Chula Vista, but most people don't know where that's at, so I would say San Diego. Yeah, but I will share the replay link afterwards. So if you guys want to tune in, you can fast forward to wherever you are. So after you've kind of shared information with your people and you've given them so much goodness that they're like, yes, every time I go to Sandra's website, she's posting stuff that's valuable, that's resourceful. She's giving me all this information. You know, she's telling me where to go to find things that are useful. She's telling me the tools I need. I mean, she's the person to trust. And so then when you ask them to sign up for your program or pay you for your services or do something that's helpful for you, they're going to say, okay, I kind of like that idea. Yeah, she's cool. Um, thank you. Yes, I'm glad that you came on, Abby. I know you were thinking about it and didn't know how you were going to get on. So thanks for coming on. But yeah, once you've given them all that advice, all that information, all that goodness, then you can ask. And so I'm not afraid to tell people how much I charge or tell people, you know, how much. Even the other day, somebody said, oh, do you do live trainings? And I'm like, well, I'm on Blab every Thursday at 7:00, and I'm always giving away good information. And so if I don't do a webinar or if I don't do anything else, you can literally come on here at 7:00 on a Thursday and you're getting value for free, you know? So I don't ever feel bad about telling people, you know, how much I charge. And you shouldn't. Once you start giving that value, people will know that. So sales isn't always about selling. It's more about creating a relationship. And so yesterday when I did my workshop, I said it was 5 steps to an irresistible brand. And in parentheses, I told them, you know, in parentheses, this would be relationship building. I mean, that's really what it's about, is you want to create the relationship. Exactly. Pros get paid. You don't want to, and you don't want to be in a place where people just assume or they get comfortable thinking that they don't need to pay for your services. So even if, so this is something that I like to tell people, even if you're giving them something that's small, like, you know, an ebook for $12 or whatever, you want people to know that your information has value. And so when, you know, you don't have to sell them $1,000 product for it to be valuable. You can give them something that costs $12, but once they have, it's easier to get people to spend more money with you than it is for them to initially spend money with you. You know what I mean? So what is the best business book that I've read? I like Ask by Ryan Levesque. I think the best book I've read is How to Create, what is the book? How to Create Relationships and How to Make Friends. And oh gosh, now I'm like, so this is why you can't ask me anything because I get sidetracked. How to Make Friends and Influence People. Yes, Win Friends and Influence People. Yes, that is the book. There's another book which is, and I'm trying to remember what the name of it is, and it's all about it's about a gentleman who did these mastermind dinners. And that was an amazing book too. And I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. I'm trying to see if it's back here. Let's see. I was into the 4-hour work week until I realized that the 4-hour work week doesn't work in my life. So, the 4-hour work week was kind of like, no. I am reading Ask Gary Vee, and I do have, I'm reading this again tomorrow, which is Ask. By Ryan Levesque. So I'm reading this again tomorrow because I read it before and it had some good nuggets, and I feel like I just need to go through it again. So there, I mean, there's a ton of books out there. I feel like you can get so bogged down with which book. You like this book? Ask. I love that book. Yes, it's a good book. It's a really good book. I didn't think I was going to like it. It was like slow moving in the beginning, but then it was good. I am a video person. Everyone that knows me, probably I drive them nuts. I love video. I love images. I love photography. I love video. So I am a kind of person that really gets excited when I see good video content. So I tend to try to find, what's out there that I can really soak in via video. And I think one of the interesting things is that a lot of people think online is different than in person, like how you connect, how you relate, how you do business. And the truth is that it's the same thing. I spend so much time just really creating relationships with people and really connecting with people so that I can, build my brand. I'm going away this weekend, and I have people who pay me to help them with their business. And so I will be gone for a few days. And, when I come back on Monday, I won't be able to just jump on because I'll be coming in a little bit later. And so I wanted to let people know, like, I'll be gone, here's just wanted to say hello, let you guys know, like, I'm going to be gone, but I'm still here supporting your business. Like, when I get back, I'm going to have good information for you because I'm actually going to a training this weekend. So I'm like, I'll have some good information with you from my conference, from everything that I'm doing. So what's a great opening question you can ask if you're shy when networking? If you're shy when networking, I always say, don't necessarily ask a question that's about networking. I mean, you can find out a lot of times about people, things like you just asked right now. What's the best business book you've read? Or sometimes it's just about asking something not totally related to a sale. You just bought 100 million, what? 103, what? I can't read. I just bought 113 million markets of one. Oh, I'm like, what? The book, yes. Did you like it? I haven't read that, so I want to know if it's good. But yeah, I think the biggest thing with networking, or whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, is that we make it too complicated and that we make it about us. And it's not about us. It's not about us at all. It's about our customers, about our clients, about the other person. So when you spend time just asking them questions about them, I mean, that's when you're really going to be able to create and build those relationships. So a question that my clients are mostly women, right? That have kids. So a question for me to ask, and I'm not going to say just because I love talking to people and I love humans that it's not intimidating sometimes. Sometimes it is, because I don't just want to talk to people. I want to talk to like the people, right? And I want to be, I don't have a fear of connecting with somebody that maybe people think, oh, that's not somebody that I can have access to. Like, I don't feel that the world is inaccessible. I feel like anyone I want to talk to in the world, including the President of the United States, I can access that person some way. So I don't have that like barrier, but I do have the intimidation factor. Lena, don't tell all my secrets. But yeah, I feel like we're not in 6 degrees of separation anymore. That doesn't exist anymore. So I feel like we're definitely in a place now where you have access to more people. So the only thing that's keeping you from talking to other people is the fact that you think it's about you, and it's not about you. The Unapologetic Guide to Being Your Own Boss. I'm gonna look that up. I haven't read that. Is that your wife, Gloria? Yes. Okay. I'm like, she would kill you. Uh-oh. What's the name of the book? BYOB. I'm writing it down. The BYOB book. You've been on here long enough, so I don't mind that you're promoting my stuff. Your baby. That's awesome. That's awesome. So see, I mean, that's the thing. It's Ricardo's been on here for quite some time, and I will say Ricardo has a business and he helps people with their brands, and he's on here and he hasn't said, hey, book me. He's just been on here and been helpful. He's been asking questions, answering questions, giving advice, offering nuggets, and truly that is what's going to help him build a relationship with me. So I might connect with Ricardo and I'll say, hey, Ricardo, would you like to be on my next blab? And he'd say, of course. I don't even know Ricardo, but But I could say, hey, you want to be on the next blab, and whatever it is. Like, this is how you make connections. Like, you don't make connections by going into somebody's Facebook page or Twitter or whatever it is and saying, here's my package. I don't know. Every time I say that, it cracks me up. Here's my package. Don't show people your package right away. Keep that for yourself. Clearly, it's too late. I'm getting silly. Yes, keep your package to yourself. All right, it is 8:12. My husband is snoring in the background. No one hears him. I think it's insane and crazy. I make him turn everything off while I'm blabbing, because when we moved to California, I don't have an office, so I have like a common area, and he is literally sitting on the couch asleep right now, snoring, and I feel terrible that I can hear him, and I don't know if y'all can hear him. So this is how we keep it real here on Biz Blab Brand. And so I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in, for being on this long, for asking questions. Packages for the third date. Yes. What I'm doing tonight, I hope that it will inspire you to not stop, abort mission when things don't go the way they're supposed to. So I was supposed to have Elizabeth on tonight. She wasn't able to come on. I could really have gone and started packing for my trip tomorrow and just said the heck with Blab and with y'all. But that's not me. That's not the person I am. It resonates with my brand. And this is going to reflect, I'm sorry, not resonate, but this is going to reflect with my brand. And so I would not just, leave you guys in the lurch like that and cancel. So I hope that this was helpful in some way or enjoyable, that you got something good out of it. And if you didn't, that's okay, because I created a video. I didn't stop my momentum. And you know what? Today was 90 days of me on Blab, and I'm going to put my crown on. And I'm going to celebrate because I didn't give up and I did 90 days. So I hope that you guys will continue to do what you're doing. Give yourself 90 days to reach a goal. Just do one thing. This is the one thing that I have done, this year, that I've said, this is a goal that I want to do for my business. And it has been just totally awesome and amazing for me. And I've met so many wonderful people. So I'm reading the comments now. Lena says, he must sound like a train in a tunnel. Yes. No, it sounds more like a helicopter, actually. This has inspired me to do more blabs and get it done. I've done one and loved it. Look out, world. More is coming. Ricardo, let me know. I'm going to subscribe to you. That way I'll know when you're blabbing. And you can click on people's names. You can follow them. And then when they're doing their thing, you'll know. So, this is the first time that I've gone through the whole blab and I haven't shared, like, go to my website and do this and that or whatever. And honestly, you guys know where to find me, but brandyoulove.com. If you want more goodness and nuggets and amazing content, just come back next week, 7 p.m. I'll be right here. You can also follow me on my website. And if you want the information about how to use Blab to grow your list and your following, you can go to my website, sandragwines.com, and I'll type it at the bottom /go live. And there's actually a download for you that shows you exactly what I do before, after, and during the show to get people to sign up to my list and to really get people to come on the show. So I have a VA who's on here right now, Deanna, and she's amazing. She's Dawson Virtual. And she really helps me do the behind the scenes stuff. She sets up the Blab and she does all these wonderful things for me that I was doing before on my own. And so she's been doing it for a few weeks now. And honestly, having someone that can help has really moved the momentum on what I'm doing. So if you guys need a VA, definitely check out Deanna. I will share her just because, I know that the world needs more of her and she's amazing. Yes. Thanks, Deanna. Thank you for encouraging me. And Ricardo, I'll be looking out for your blabs. And for everyone else that's out there, I see Violet is there. I didn't get to say hello to Mama Introspect. You should definitely use Blab. I think that you could reach a lot of people. You probably don't want to do it this late, though. My blabs are late. Just before we hang up, I just want to know, by a show of like yeses or no's, is it late? Is my blab late? Do you feel like it's a struggle to stay on this long? You're in Toronto, 11:30 p.m. Okay. You like late. Not to the West Coast people. I know it's not late to me, but I know that we have a lot of people. It's late, but I'm up. Kids are asleep. This is time that I work. Fine with me. Also a late worker here. Okay, so this is awesome. All right, so if y'all know, my whole brand is around women who are building and branding their business after dark when the kids are asleep. So this is perfect. And so what I want you guys to see is that I am attracting the people who I have, you know, marketed to. And don't be afraid to market to people. You will find your pocket. You will find your tribe. That's all I got. I'm out. I'll see y'all next week. I'm going to Vegas with a baby. Don't ask. Bye, guys.